Hello YouTube, you may have missed me. It's been a really busy week. Kelly Renee Miller here, and instead of news, I have an opinion. As I'm sure you all knew, it's trending everywhere. Sony Picture Studios has canceled its release of the interview. It will not be released at all because of threats that came out during the hack on any theater and patrons therein that would go to see it. Here, I spoke with somebody at Sony, and he was actually talking about how they, almost tongue-in-cheekly, were going to pitch, were trying to pitch the interview to air on South Korean airline. That is, that clearly didn't work because now they're cutting it entirely. There's a lot to say here. Free speech has taken a hit, I would say for sure. At the same time, I can see Sony's perspective a little bit on corporate responsibility, since that was a threat that was made. It was not made to specific theaters, but it was a very specific type of threat. And while no evidence has been found of any plan to attack any theaters, there doesn't necessarily need to be evidence. A lot of evidence doesn't come out until after the fact. So from a corporate responsibility standpoint, I can see why they made the decision to pull it. And in actuality, they were going to remain mum on the situation, and they instead left it up to the theaters that the film was going to be released into to choose whether or not to distribute it and air it. And many of Regal, Pacific, AMC, they all elected to not air it at all out of fear. And that makes sense to me because we had, the Colorado shootings during the Dark Knight trilogy, before The Dark Knight Rises, and that was just a local random attack on one theater about just a film that anybody really wanted to see. It wasn't necessarily inciting in any way. And then there are so many questions about it, like, would they still have made this decision and presented that if there had not been a hack and that email had not been seen? Like, were they going to ignore it but for public knowledge? Is this to save face? Is it corporate responsibility? Is it giving in to threats? We really don't know. My friend had a really great idea. Just release it for free to Americans then. Because the whole point is that it's tongue-in-cheek, and it's comedy pushing it too far, because that's what comedy does. And let's face it, comedians are the only people saying anything important these days. I'm kind of on the fence about the decision to pull the interview. It was a movie I really wanted to see once I saw a preview. Thank you. That's all I had to say. If you have anything to say, sound off in the comments, and we'll start a discussion. Everyone have a great night.